Hey everyone, welcome on into an at-home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report. Hopefully you guys have a nice start to your 4th of July weekend. And I want to talk about 3 bounce-back candidates for the Cleveland Browns going into 2025. And there is a long list of players you can pick from. When I was looking at this, I thought, you know what? Let's go with just 3. 3 is a nice number to work with here. And I had a tough time whittling it down to the best 3 candidates. Toyed around with a couple of guys on the offensive line. Joel Bitonio starting to play more average than like all pro, which we're used to. Wyatt Teller, when healthy, is really good, but we're just not seeing a healthy version of him for long stretches of time. But here are the 3 players I ultimately landed on. And I want to start with the guy I believe will bounce back the best, and I want to see bounce back the best. And that is Martin Emerson. He was such a gem of a draft pick in round 3 out of Mississippi State. Right out of the gates as a rookie, takes over from Greedy Williams, who got injured during training camp, and Emerson never looked back and never relinquished that starting job. And he was a lockdown, lengthy, physical corner. The guy was putting up INTs year number 2, and then year 3 came. And like so many other players on the Browns defense and just on the Browns overall roster, Emerson took a huge step back. So why do I have Emerson on this list? I'm not just going to put guys on this list that I just want to see bounce back, right? I'm putting guys on this list for a specific reason as to why I think there is going to be a change that enables them to get back to their prior form. So let's start with the change of the Browns defense. I believe is going to be improved. And this comes from a place of Jim Schwartz's defense last year was just caught with their pants down more often than they would have liked. And I think they started to run out of gas of bailing out the offense. 2 straight years where the Browns lead the NFL in turnovers. That puts a tough bind on your defense to constantly have to go out there and go, all right, we're starting at our own 25-yard line, right? And next thing you know, the opposition's putting up some easy points, and it just wears on you mentally because you feel like you're not as bad as the score would indicate. You're not a team that gives up 14, 20 points in the first half, but your offense is doing you no favors by putting you in tough positions. And I believe with charade at quarterback hopefully dying down a little bit, Kevin Stefanski taking the reins back for his offense, we're going to see a bigger emphasis placed on ball control. And with ball control comes better field position for the defense when the offense doesn't just turn it over and the other team starts at Cleveland's 35-yard line in field goal range from 1st and 10. So that trickle down right there, I think that's going to help out a lot of players on defense, and Martin Emerson being one of those players. So I'm going to toss him on this list as someone who I think is going to have a bounce back season. All right, that's my first guy. Next player I want to look at here, Grant Delpit. Signed a 3-year extension, and then unfortunately against the Texans on Christmas Eve, I want to say, that was the game he got injured, suffers a leg injury, and we basically don't see a healthy Grant Delpit until the next year, 2024. Last season for Delpit, he kind of fell victim to a lot of the other players on defense, which was just not looking their best. And here's why I think Delpit bounces back. For one, he's going to no longer need to have to do the job of 2 safeties. Juan Thornhill, the boogeyman, who was constantly a liability on the back end last season, not communicating well with the other defenders. He is no longer on this team. He's in Pittsburgh. That's their problem. So for Delpit, sorry about the clock in my parents' house going off. For Grant Delpit, he can start to get back to just focusing on being one safety, right? He's got Ronnie Hickman and Deontay Johnson alongside him. One proven veteran, one up-and-coming UDFA who's always shined when given the opportunity. I think for Delpit, less is more for him. And he's going to benefit from not feeling the pressure of having to do the job of 2 safeties at once, because rightfully so, he has no faith in the other safety to do his job. So I expect a bounce back year from Delpit, Plus, maybe it's just me who thinks this way or like laughs at this, but I tend to notice that fans and media always believe when an NFL season ends in January that by August of that upcoming season, everyone just magically gets healthy. Like the human body just knows, oh, in the NFL offseason, it's like a video game, your health just bounces back to 100. In reality, your hamstring does not know that in March and April and May, it just magically is supposed to heal because it's the offseason. So Delpit, hopefully a whole extra year to recover from the injury he suffered at the end of the 2023 season, could come out flying to start the 2025 season. And now, the third bounce back candidate. This guy, I'm not super confident in. Not nearly as confident as the other two. But I'm starting to warm up, and it's probably just a little bit of boredom turning into wishful thinking while we wait for football. Deontay Johnson. The reason why I'm starting to make a slight pivot on Johnson, because if you've listened to my videos before, you know I've been very pessimistic about Johnson, even making this 53-man roster. He doesn't seem like he's got like good, I don't want to say like values installed in him, because I don't know on a personal level, but good tendencies or habits, because not once but twice last year he was kicked off a team that was going to the playoffs. So you really got to screw something up if you do that twice in a 4-week span like he did with the Ravens and Texans. But the reason why I'm starting to turn the corner a little bit is Diontae Johnson shared on a podcast. We made a whole video about one of his clips from that podcast, but he shared that only the Browns called him, and that was humbling for him. And I would like to believe that that was a huge splash of ice-cold water in the face, that he was down to 1 out of 32 teams giving him a chance. And if he screws this up, there will be no second chance. There will be no other chance. This was the last team willing to even bring him in for a workout. And if it doesn't go well with the Browns, no other team is going to call. And that's got to wake you up. Especially as an NFL player who's not even 30 years old, thinking, this is my last opportunity to get a paycheck or two before my playing days are over. So I think that right there is the ultimate motivator. And we'll see if it motivates Johnson enough to kind of get his act together and not screw up his own opportunities and get in his own way and get released because he told the Ravens he wasn't going to go into a game because it was too cold when it was 40 degrees. Well, first off, the dome in Brook Park is not built yet, Diontae. So get ready for some chilly games this November, December, January. But that's where I come in from with a Johnson bounce back season. We know he's talented. We saw it in Pittsburgh. The question is, will he finally kind of get his act together a little bit and realize this is my last chance and I can't just check myself out of a game because it's chilly. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and I'll see everyone next time.